Hello friends, welcome back to Quick Poetry Knowledge. This is Mehjabin. In today's video, I am going to summarize the poem The Solitary Reaper. This poem was composed by William Wordsworth. I have already made a video featuring a line-by-line explanation of this poem. Those of you who haven't watched it may check out the link in the description box. And now, let's get started with the summary. The poet came upon the solitary reaper while taking a walk in the hillside of Scotland. As the poem begins, Wordsworth asks his fellow passers-by to take a look at the girl who was working in the fields. The reaper was working all alone and she was just nearby. The poet says that she was a Highland Lass. In other words, she was a country girl who belonged to the Highlands of Scotland. While she was reaping the crop, she was singing softly. The poet advised his fellow travelers to stop for a moment to enjoy the melody of the solitary reaper's song. Or, if they did not feel like stopping, they could pass by gently. The poet observed that the girl was working all by herself. She was cutting the grain and binding it as well. While she worked, she kept singing. The song seemed to have a sad note. Next, the poet encouraged the listeners to pay close attention to the song of the reaper. The deep valley was echoing the tune of the song. The poet then goes on to compare the song of the reaper to that of the nightingale bird, which is known to sing melodiously. He says that the solitary reaper sang so beautifully that even the nightingale could not compete with her. There wasn't any nightingale which gave more pleasure and comfort to groups of tired travelers who stopped for rest at some shady oasis in the dry, arid regions of the Arabian soil. The reaper's song even overshadowed the song of the cuckoo, which is another bird known to sing melodiously. The cuckoo's song ushers in the glorious season of spring, and in the distant Hebrides Islands along the northwest coast of Scotland, the cuckoo's music breaks the silence of the ocean waters touching the islands. However, the poet says that the solitary reaper's song is even more melodious than that of the cuckoos, which filters through the Hebrides shores. The poet wondered if anybody would explain the subject matter of this maiden song to him. He harbored the feeling that the reaper might have faced some unhappiness in the past. Her song was probably related to some old painful fights in her life. Or it was also possible that the theme of her song was connected to some everyday affairs of her life, probably some natural tragedy, bereavement, or heartbreak. It was probable that this pain had a chance of happening again in the future. The poet thought that the maiden was singing to express her fears and insecurities. Although the poet could not understand the meaning of the reaper's song, he heard her singing continuously. She sang while she was bent over the sickle in her hand. She sang without stopping. The poet got so captivated by its spell that he listened to her without making any movement. Eventually, while he continued the rest of his journey, he carried the impressions of her music in his heart, and as a result, he continued to hear the song long after he had last heard it live. Well, that's all for today. Thanks a lot for watching and supporting this channel. If you are looking for prose-related explanations, consider visiting my other YouTube channel, Class Remotely. The link will be in the description box. This particular channel of mine, Quick Poetry Knowledge, features explanations, summaries, and question and answers related to poetry in the English language. Check out the playlist. You might find something useful, you never know. Consider subscribing to this channel and check out the description box for the notes on today's summary. Meet you again very soon. Bye.